Good morning, everyone. So today we've got a few things on tap. First of all, we're going to need to create walls on the outside of our marble maze. Then we're going to need to create a second, well, actually before that, we're going to cut in the tabs into the bottom piece that fit into the outside walls to hold them all together. Then we're going to need to take that cut out and we're going to need to create another bottom below this. So there'll be two bottoms to the maze. One, the marble rolls around on and falls through, and the second one below it that catches the marble and keeps it from falling to the floor. So we'll do that today as well. And then we'll join both the bottoms to the outside walls and cut all those joints today. So we've got a lot to do. Let's get to it. First thing I'm going to do is I don't need the interior walls today very often. So I'm just going to get rid of all my interior walls so I can just focus on the exterior walls. I'm going to leave the base, and now I'm going to just draw the walls. So I'm going to click here, create a sketch. I'm going to draw a rectangle and extrude it up and down for the walls. So I'm going to draw it right on the top of the base. I want to make sure the thickness is thickness. And then I want to make sure I really get right to where it turns blue like that, telling me that I got the edge of that rectangle. I'm going to hit E for extrude. I'm going to do a two-sided extrusion. And oh, I got to choose my object before. I was wondering why it wasn't working well. So I'm going to extrude that rectangle. I'm going to extrude it up 2 centimeters. Tab down. And now to figure out how far down I need to go. So I need to take this wall 2 centimeters up to be even with the other wall. So that's easy. The down is the hard part. So down, I've got to take it down through the thickness of the first bottom, right? Then I need to give it at least 1.5 centimeters to clear the marble. So there's 1.5 plus that thickness. And then plus down here at the bottom, I need to add another thickness for the other bottom. And then a little bit more wood so that that second bottom, that little gap of wood right there, right? And then I want all of this to be a nice even number to work with. So I'm just going to play around with some stuff. So when I do that math, I need to go down through one thickness. That's 0.2775. Oh, sorry, 0.275 for one thickness, plus at least 1.5. It could be a little more. 1.5 centimeters for the marble to clear on the underneath shelf, plus another thickness because of the next bottom, 0.275. And then plus some more. So I don't know, 2 thicknesses. So 0.2775 plus 0.2775. And that gets me to, well, I did that wrong. So let's do it again, sorry. So the bottom part of the wall, the top part's easy, it's 2 centimeters. The bottom part is a thickness, 0.275, plus 1.5 for the marble to clear, plus the thickness of the next bottom, 0.275, plus, and then, 2 thicknesses is about 0.5. Right now I'm at 2.05, and I still need some space underneath. So let's just call that, let's just call it 2.5. Let's round it up to halfway. So I'm going to do 2.5. You can do whatever you want. All you have to do is make sure you have at least 1.5 centimeters between the two bottoms. That way the marble can easily roll around. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a 2.5 down. Keep it nice and round, nice even round number. Well, it's not even or round, I guess, but keep it just to 1 decimal place. So now we got a 4.5 centimeter wall from top to bottom here. And that's better than I think having it, because it would have been like 4.45 or something if we'd done it perfectly. And then I'm going to say new body here and click OK. Awesome. So that's one wall, and I got to figure out which wall that is real quick. So I'm going to go back to home here, and that was the back wall. So I'm going to rename this B wall. I'm going to do the same thing for all 4 walls. I want them to go all the way to the corner, so I want everything to be overlapping so I can cut joints in them later. So I'm going to hide the back wall, do another sketch, I think I'll do the left wall next. So I'll go here and whoops. Down to there, thickness here. Oh, yep, right there. Extrude this edge, click on it, and now I'm going to go fast. So I'm going to say I want a two-sided extrusion. This one should be 2, and this one should be 2.5. And I should have a new body, and okay. And now I'm going to call this one L wall for left wall, and I'm going to hide it. Do another sketch. Here in the corner, thickness, make sure I'm right there on it, extrude. So at this point, we're really looking to just be super efficient in our movements. So 2, 2.5, new body, okay. And that was front wall. Hide it, create another one, last one. This is going to be the right wall. That should be thickness. And enter, should be good. Extrude that. Two-sided, 2, 2.5, new body, okay. And our wall. Now I need to make sure I haven't made any mistakes, so I'm going to turn the walls, all the walls on, not that one, and just tip it over and make sure that they all line up like I thought they would, and they do. Awesome. So I typed in a number wrong, and then like I typed in 2.2 instead of 2.5. One of these walls would be like short, so that's all I was looking for there. All right, so now we've got this base going into that wall. We need the new base underneath, and we're going to space that base out, that bottom piece, we're going to space it out, but we'll wait to do that until we cut the tabs in this one. And before we do that, let's go ahead and cut the front and the back. It doesn't really matter, I just like doing it this way. So I'm going to cut the side joints in the front and the side joints in back. Then I'm going to use those joints to cut the tabs, the joints in the left and right one. All right, let's go to the front. Let's click, create a sketch. And I'm going to turn off everything but the front wall. And now I'm just going to try and make something that looks nice. So I've got 4.5 centimeters from here to here to work with. So I'm going to try to do it, I don't know, I'm going to try 0.5 centimeter. I don't know if this will work. This is going to be thickness here. So I'm going to do a 0.5 centimeter tab there, and then I'm going to do another one here, but sort of full thickness, like a 1 centimeter width one. And then it's got to be thickness here again, and enter. And I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to create one more. I need more space down here, I think. And this is a 1 centimeter. Here you're just playing. You're doing whatever you think looks good on your stuff. And I'm going to do what I think looks good on mine. And then I'm going to adjust them as I go. So then down here at the bottom corner, I need another 0.5 one. So there, and I'm going to call that 1.5. Enter. And I can tell already that this is going to be not spaced well. Notice how these distances aren't going to be even. So I'm going to change these to 0.75. I'm going to make the rectangle a little smaller. And I'm trying to do something with kind of even numbers and see if I can get it to work out. So I know I've got 4.5 altogether. So let's do some math real quick. So my 2 half tabs are 0.5 each. So that's 4.5 minus this one means I have 4 centimeters left over. Minus this one, I've got 3.5 centimeters left over. And then minus this one and this one. So 0.75 and 0.75 is 1.5. So that means I have 2 centimeters left over. So that means across 3, that doesn't work well at all, does it? I might, I might go a whole different route. This seems like it's going to be too much effort. I want to make this fast and easy because I have to repeat it over and over again. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw one right here in the center. And I'm going to call it, I don't know, 0.75 look pretty good. And then I'm going to call this one thickness. Enter. Now I'm going to line it up right in the center. And then instead of trying to space it manually and figure out all the numbers, I'm just going to put it right in the center and then create a rectangular pattern up and down and just fill it in that way till it looks good. That might be the easier way. So create rectangular pattern of this one, this one, this one, and this one. And then I'm going to just drag it this way. Now, I know I'm dealing with this bottom set of stuff, so I'm going to go symmetric directions. And I'm going to increase this from 3 to 5. And let's see, if I do like a little half tab there, I don't know, that doesn't look very good. I'm going to change, so I'm going to say okay there, and I actually don't like the width. Well, first of all, let me move this out of the way because it's really, this dimension really makes it hard to see what's going on. And now I can just play with this until I get it. Like this is too small. This is way smaller than this is. So I'm going to change this to 0.5. And that actually looks pretty decent. Now, if I want to change the rectangular pattern that I just did, instead of having to undo it, check this out. There's this little symbol. Let me zoom in so you can see it. It looks like this. It's got like a solid thing and then like open squares showing that it's a rectangular pattern. That's the symbol for rectangular pattern tool. Like it's copying this solid one over to there and down to here and over to here. So if you double click on that little symbol, it opens that edit up again and you can go back and you can slide stuff around again. So like right now I notice that more than half of it's off. So I'm actually going to slide it down until it's about 50-50. I think that looks good. And now that looks good. Now, to repeat this on the other side, I'm going to need to know some information from it. So I'm going to come back to this symbol down here. Got to find there. Oh, it's so hard to click on. It's by that parallel one. There it is. Now I'm zoomed in enough I can get it. Now I need to know what these things are. So I did a distance of 2.2. I'm going to write these numbers down. I have 5 of them at a distance of 2.2. And awesome. And it's a symmetric. So I need to know those 3 things. So I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to come back out. And now I've got to mirror this over to the other side. So I'm going to grab a line here. And it's okay that it's not a construction line. Technically, it should, I mean, a construction line would be slightly better, but it won't affect anything. And I'm going to do the mirror tool. And I'm going to go here, here, and just mirror out just the ones I need. Mirror line. I'm going to select the mirror line there, and I'm going to say OK. And now I have it. I can go ahead and extrude this. Here, here, here. I'm going to cut all of those away. And I'm going to rotate, pull it through, say nope, just go all the way, and then click OK. Awesome. So those are the 2 edges of the front wall. I need to do that exact same thing on the back wall. And then we'll cut, I'll show you how to cut the bases in a pretty easy way as well. Okay, so I'm going to go to turn the right wall, nope, I'm going to turn the back wall on. I'm going to rotate around to the back of my model. Zoom out, there it is right there. I'm going to create it right on there. I'm going to go ahead and hide the... Actually, let's try this. This will be fun. So what I want to do is I've already created, I want to create this exact same pattern here. So what I'm going to do is just project it onto my plane. So watch this. So I'm going to go to here to create. I'm going to go down to project. And I'm going to project this surface. You can see it's drawing it on there. And you can already, let me zoom in some. You can see it's already drawn it on there. Boom. And then I'm going to say, okay. Now I just drew my front onto my back. So yeah, that makes, oops, I want the back on, the front off. I'm going to square up with the back. And now I'm just going to extrude that. So I didn't need to write all those numbers down. This was so much easier. I should have done this with the box. This is a way better way of doing it. And then I'm just going to extrude those, and we're all done with that. Boom. So I want to go all the way through only, and then click OK. All right, so now I've got the 4 walls, well, the front and the back walls cut. I just need to use them now to cut the right and the left wall. So I'm going to say combine. I'm going to cut this one using this one and that one, except it should be a cut command. I'm going to say keep tools. And now I've just cut that side, so I'm going to say OK. And now I'm going to do a combine tool, and I'm going to cut this one using the front and the back wall. And OK. So now I've cut all 4 corners of my walls. I need to now work on the first base, which is this one. And then we'll draw in the second base based on this one. And maybe we'll just project it and extrude it. Oh, that's interesting. We'll do that. All right, so to do that, I need to cut all the tabs around all 4 sides of the base so they fit into the outside walls. So I'm going to turn off the outside wall so I can see what I'm doing. Click here. And I'm going to create a box. And now these need to look good because this is what people are going to see. This is going to be these going all around here. So I want them to look like I want them to look sharp. So I'm going to take some time lining them up well. So here, thickness. And up here, I'm going to do like a 1 centimeter tab. I like that size. You can do whatever size you want. What I'm showing you works no matter what size you choose. And you'll have time to play with it later as well. So I'm going to center this in the middle. And then I'm going to use the rectangular pattern tool. Create, you know what? I'm going to do 1 1/4. Just because I can. Mine is a 10 by 10, so it's going to be a little bit bigger than, or longer than this. So I don't want quite as many tabs. So the smaller this number is, the more tabs you'll have. The larger this number is, the fewer tabs you'll have, typically. And then create a rectangular pattern. And, I got to choose which ones I want to do. 1, 2, 3. And because I'm going in the direction of the blue arrow, I know that this stuff on top is the ones I'm using. And I'm going to say I'm going to do a symmetric pattern because I want to go out in both directions. And I'm going to just drag it out. And I'm going to drag it out so it just gets to that outside edge. I'm going to look down here. Oh, see. So on this one, it needs to look nice. So I'm going to really try to get it. No, that's about as good as I can get it. Okay. So I'm happy with that. I can live with where it turned out. And I just need to figure out the number of them that I want to do. So I'm going to up this. And again, when you do an even number, it messes up. It puts like extra ones over here. So this, when you center it, you've got to do an odd number. So I'm going to think 11. You know what? I don't want that many. Let me try 9. Now I have to remember this is going to be the cutout part, and this is going to be the tab part that pokes through, the black line that pokes through. So I actually want, for me, I prefer that black line to be smaller and the space between to be a little bit bigger. So I might go there, and then I'm going to just click. Well, I just remember some numbers now. So what did I end up with? I ended up with 11 and 13.4. I want these two numbers, 11, 13.4, and I'm going to be on extent for this, and symmetric. All right, so I'm going to click OK. And I'm actually going to just keep doing that on all 4 sides, I think, and then I'm just going to extrude all at once at the, no, that's going to be a pain. I'm going to extrude now. So I'm going to get rid of all of these. Again, I want this corner extruded. What I don't want is one of these black tabs to roll through this corner. I like this cool looking sort of only vertical look. Otherwise it's going to have like this black tab will roll through the corner and kind of make the other ones look chunky. So I like to make the bottom of stuff have the sides cut out. So like I'm doing right there. And I'm going to click OK. All right, now the next side. So I'm going to create a sketch. Pop a rectangle in here. Whoops. That did not work out well. I'm going to pop a rectangle in here like this. And this was 1.25. I need that number too. I should write that down. 1.25 is my tab. And then the other one, of course, is thickness. Enter, and I'm going to zoom in on it. I'm going to center it on this line, and then I'm going to do create a rectangular pattern using those. I'm going to do all four, doesn't matter. And I'm going in the direction of the blue arrow, so that means my top one should be the right one, symmetric. I'm just going to type numbers in now. So I know I want to do 11 here. And for me, it was 13.4. But for you, it may have been something different. Oh, that was totally wrong. It does the horizontal ones first. All right, so I need to take this back down to 1. And this down to 0. And that's got to be at least 1. And now I got to do this one to 11 and 13.4. Oops, and symmetric. And there it is. Click OK, and now I'm going to extrude that. Tip it over so I can see the arrow, push it through, and say just go all the way through, and click OK. Awesome, done. Next side. Here, rectangle, thickness, whoops, did not take, thickness, 0.25, center it, and then just start doing my rectangular pattern. Here, 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 and this one I think this is right. So this is 11 tab 13.4 and symmetric. I'm gonna click OK, and now I just need to extrude these. Oops, not that one. Then I have one more side. Oops. Tip it over, push it back through, say all, and click OK. And now I need to do this on this side. Create a rectangle. So I'm trying to avoid like creating the rectangle in like a location point, like a center point. So I do want to just push it off to the side. I'm not trying to center it to start with. If I hit that center point, it'll be fixed in position. I won't be able to actually center it. And then this one is 1.25. And then I'm going to come down here and grab the midpoint here and here. Now, obviously, if you're using, you've already figured this out if it's true for you, but if you're using a different size maze, you're going to have to use different numbers. You can't use the numbers I've typed in for my rectangular pattern because your size will be different than mine. But you've probably already figured that out if you are in that situation. I'm going to choose these, and then I think this is going to be the top one. Well, let me just try one. me see which one changed. Okay, so this is the bottom one. I just pulled it and it just changed. So this one I need 11 here, and I need a distance of 13.4, and I need symmetric. Okay. Let it draw them, and then I'm going to come out and extrude them real quick. And then that one's done. Click on all of those. Tip it a little bit. Pull it through. Say just all the way through and click OK. All right, so let's go back out to home. And let's just do the next one. So what I'm going to do is I gave myself a little extra space for the bottom, so I'm going to do another one, and I'm going to make sure there's 1.7 centimeters. 1.5 is enough because the hole is 1.5, so if your marble can fall down the hole, it can definitely clear the 1.5 below. But I gave myself a little extra space, so I'm going to bring it up a little bit, or make that a bigger distance between the two bottoms. So we're going to create another bottom, but it's going to be away from this one. So I'm looking at right now, so here's home, right? This is the top where the marble's going to be rolling down. There'll be holes in this one. If I look at the bottom of this one, I'm going to flip it over and see the bottom. I'm going to create a offset plane, and I'm going to offset it from this one. And I'm going to pull it down below it, right? That's 5 centimeters below. I don't want that far. I want 1.75 is what I'm going to go with. And maybe even I turn on one wall to see where it hits on the wall. So I'm going to turn on this right wall here. And that's where my, so that's where my bottom, the top of the bottom, if that makes any sense, is going to be right there, and the rest of it's going to be down below. So actually I don't like, that's a bit much, so I'm going to go with 1.7. Because I do want a good deal of wood underneath it to make it strong. And maybe I'm going to go with 1.6 instead. Yeah, I like that, because it'll be like, the piece of wood will be like this far, and then there'll be that much wood underneath it. So I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to say okay. Now I haven't created a plane or a sketch yet. I just made a plane. I'm going to create, let me turn that right wall off again. I'm going to create a sketch plane right here on this. So I'm going to sketch that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to project this shape, because I want the exact same shape as that bottom on the next bottom. So I'm going to just do a projection. I'm going to project this onto my plane. And now when I look, see how I've got, there's that, and there's my projection. So I'm going to turn the base off, go back to the bottom view, and I'm just going to extrude this. So click OK to say I want that thing. I'm just going to extrude this piece, and I'm looking at the bottom of it. I'm going to extrude it down away from that. If I extrude it up, I only left 1.6 centimeters. So if I extrude it up, it's going to go into the hole and make it be like less than 1.5 centimeters. The marble will fall in and won't be able to roll to the side and get out. Which is one way of doing it. Like if it just falls in and sits there, you have to turn the whole thing upside down and shake it out. You can do it that way. That'd be kind of actually cool to see the marble just sitting sort of in the hole without having to be able to get all the way down. So I'm going to do this down, and I'm going to do it one thickness because this is the actual material. Enter and click OK. That's my second bottom, all cut and ready to go. Okay, so now let's turn the other. So this is the, I'm going to call this lower base. And then maybe I turn this base, I'm going to call it upper base. That way I can distinguish between them. So I'm going to turn the upper base on, the lower base on. There's that. And I'm going to move this one back up to where it's supposed to be. I'm going to turn all the exterior walls on, and now I'm going to cut. Right now the joints aren't cut in these walls, but I'm going to cut them real quick. So I want to cut this wall using this base and the upper and lower base. So I'm going to say modify. I'm going to say cut this, right, with this and that. And you can see it just cut all those little holes in it. And I'm going to say, okay. I'm going to repeat that for each of the walls. So I'm going to say cut this one using this one and this one. And I'm going to say, okay. Unfortunately, you can't have multiple things to cut. You can only cut one thing at a time. So I can't just be like, select all 4 of the walls and cut them at the same time. Let's see. So we're going to cut with this. And we're going to cut with that. And I'm going to say, okay. And then I'm trying to try something a little new. I'm going to say I'm going to cut, I'm going to do combine, and I'm going to cut the left wall. Oh, you can do it through here too. That is nice. And then I'm going to cut it with the lower base and the upper base. Oh, that's a lot faster. Click OK. And now I'm going to check to make sure I got them all. So here, see these little white rectangles? That tells me that they've been cut. So there, you can see the white rectangles. I'm going to rotate around to this view. White rectangles. Okay, so everything should be ready to go. So that's the outsides cut. I've got the inside walls cut. Yeah. All right. So that does us for this video. We've got the inside walls cut. We've got the 2 bases cut. And now all we need to do is cut in the joints for all the interior walls and then the holes in the top base to be able to have the ball fall through. And then we're going to need one more hole too to let the ball fall out between the 2. Otherwise they go in there and get trapped. Yeah. All right. Awesome.